Today, hello guys. Today we're going to learn about the past simple. Remember that we have made some exercise about the past simple before. This is the third time we talk about it, but we have a new use. Remember that we already know that we use the past simple to talk about something that started and finished in the past. But remember that when we do this, we often write this with a definite time expression, like this example. She moved to Dublin 2 months ago. She moved to Dublin. This is my time expression, 2 months ago. This is something that happened in the past, okay? Remember that we also use it to talk about situations or states that were true in the past but aren't true now, like this example. The McKays lived in London for a long time. That means that they live in London in the past, but they don't live there now. Then we use it to talk about things that we did regularly in the past. This is the past routines. I visited my neighbor every day and told her all my news. This is something that we did during a long time in the past, but we don't do it anymore. And the last use is to talk about things that happen one after the other in the past. Like this one. Joseph got out of bed, put on his clothes, and went downstairs. Remember that when we do this, when we talk about things that happen one after the other, is the most common use is like when someone asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" And you say, "Oh, yesterday I got up, I took a shower, I got dressed, I had breakfast, and then I went to work." So we mentioned the things that we did one after the other. It's a use very simple and very easy. And that's all about the uses about past simple. We have four. Something that started and finished in the past, situations or states that were through, past past routines, and things that we did after one after the other in the past. Remember that the time expressions are expressions that refers to something that happened in the past, like yesterday, maybe yesterday morning, yesterday evening, yesterday night, the other day, last. Remember that when we use last, then we have the time, last night, last week, last month, last year. Then we can use ago, that goes at the ending of the expression, the time. 10 minutes ago, 10 days ago, 10 years ago, 2 months ago. Or a definite expression like this in 2008, in May, on 24th April, on my birthday, at 8 o'clock, and so on. Okay, now let's continue with the grammar structure. In the case of the past simple, it's pretty easy. You already know that we start the sentences with a subject, so we can use a pronoun, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, a personal, a name like Carlos, Maria, Sofia, or whatever, and then we use a verb. As we're talking about past simple, we write the verb in past. In this case, we are using the verb eat. Remember that eat is an irregular verb, so the past form of it is ate. I ate, you ate, he ate, she ate, it ate, we ate, they ate. Also, we can use a complement because maybe this is too simple. I ate, but what did I eat? I might say, I ate an apple. An apple is my complement. When did I do it? I ate an apple yesterday. So I am using a subject, my verb in past, complement, and a time expression. To make it negative is easy because we add the auxiliary did after the subject. So we have subject, did not, and the verb. But as we are using the auxiliary in past, did, we don't change the verb. We write the verb in the infinitive form. I did not eat an apple yesterday. Remember that also we can make a contraction of did not, that is didn't. When we do this, we put together did and not. We take off the O and we add an apostrophe. So I can say, I didn't eat an apple yesterday. To make a question, we start with the auxiliary did, subject, the verb, and it happens the same. As we are using did or auxiliary in past, we don't change the verb. We write the verb in infinitive form. Did I eat? Did I eat an apple yesterday? And then we have the short answers. Remember that the short answers are just to say yes or no, but these are made of 3 elements. When we say yes, we have yes, comma, subject, and auxiliary. Yes, I did. No, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, she did. And when we have no, we have obviously no, comma, subject, and didn't. In this case, we're using the contraction didn't. So we say, no, I didn't. No, you didn't. No, he didn't. No, she didn't. And so on. Remember that also to make, well, in the case of regular verbs, we add the ed termination to the verb, like this. When my verb ends with e, we only add d. When my verb, in the last three letters of my verb are in the order or consonant, vowel, and consonant, we double the last letter and then we add ed, like travel, traveled. In the case of y, when my verb ends with consonant and y, we change this y by an I, and then we add ed, cry, cried. In the case of the verb that ends with y, but before this y there is a vowel, we only add the ed termination, enjoy, enjoyed. And also remember that the correct spelling of the words of the verbs that ends with ed, the correct sound is like t. Lived, traveled, cried. We don't mention the ed. Remember that the uses for the past continuous are very easy and very simple also. Remember that the most common use is to talk about an action that was in progress at a particular time in the past. Like this example, I was cleaning the house at 8 o'clock yesterday morning. If you ask me, what were you doing yesterday at 8 o'clock in the morning? I must tell you, I was cleaning the house. Because I'm telling you, I'm giving you a specific time in the past, at 8 o'clock yesterday morning. This is the action that was in progress at this time. The other use is to talk about 2 or more actions that were happening at the same time in the past, like this one. Her father was watching a film while she was doing the washing up. This is pretty common to use it because I could say, yesterday I was giving my English lesson while my sister was watching TV. That means that at the same time we were doing two different actions. Okay, then the other use is to talk about a past action that was interrupted by another action. Like this, they were painting the bathroom when someone knocked on the door. Remember that we use when to indicate that something interrupts an action that was in progress. I can say, I was eating when I got a call. That means that call interrupted my meal. And the last use is to set the scene in a story. It was a cold winter in the morning. The wind was blowing and snow was falling on trees. When we set the scene in a story is when we are describing a story. Do you remember that in writing we use this to help the reader to imagine what was happening? Okay, let's continue with the grammar structure. In the case of the grammar structure, is pretty easy in my opinion because we use subject, the verb being past. Remember that we use was or were. In the case of was, is used with I and the third person pronouns. I, he, she, it. And in the case of were, we use it with the second pronoun, we, you, and they. To make it negative, and also, we use the verb with the ing termination. Like I was eating, we were eating. Remember that we can add a complement and also a time expression. To make it negative, we only add not after the verb to be in past, was or were, and before my verb with ing termination. Like this, I was not eating, we were not eating. And also we can make contractions. We say, I wasn't eating, we weren't eating. When we make a contraction, remember that we put together the verb to be, was not or were not. We take off the O and we add an apostrophe instead this O. To make a question, we start with the verb be, then the subject, the verb with ing termination, a complement, or a time expression. Was I eating? Were they eating? And to make the short answers, as I told you before, is the same. We use 3-element short answers. Yes, subject was. Yes, subject were. According to our subject, remember we use was or were. No, subject wasn't. No, subject weren't. These are the contractions. As I told you, was means instead of the not, we took up this O and we add an apostrophe. Wasn't, weren't. Remember that also pronunciation of the W is like you. Wasn't, we don't say wasn't, is wasn't, and weren't. In the case of the spelling, remember that to add the ing termination with a verb that ends with E, we take it off and add the ing. In the case of the verbs that the last three letters ends in consonant, vowel, and consonant, we double the last letter, like this: travel, traveling, with double L. In the case of the Y, when we have consonant Y, we add ing, tidy, tiding. Then we have the use of when. Remember that we said that we use it to talk about an action that was in progress in the past but was interrupted by another. In this case, we say, I was doing the washing up when the phone rang. In this case, this when is joining the two sentences, but this sentence is what was happening and this sentence is what this sentence that interrupts this one. So the sentence that was in progress is expressed in past continuous. Meanwhile, the sentence that interrupted is written in past simple. Okay, so that's the use. Why is when we're talking about things that or actions that were in progress at the same time, and when is when we talk about actions that were an action that interrupted the other sentence. Okay, that's a pretty easy use of when and why.